She said, "Do you believe me?" And I said, "Yes, I believe you." And that was the change.
What if I told you that one of America's most beloved TV families was actually falling apart behind the scenes? What if the actors you watched every week weren't as happy as they seemed on your television screen? Today, we're going to uncover the shocking truth about why some of the biggest stars from The Cosby Show decided to walk away from what looked like the perfect job in Hollywood. The Cosby Show wasn't just any regular TV show. It was a phenomenon that changed television forever. For 8 years, from 1984 to 1992, millions of families gathered around their TVs every Thursday night to watch the Huxtable family. The show was groundbreaking because it showed an upper-middle-class African-American family in a positive light, something that had never really been done before on television. But here's the thing that most people don't know. While the Huxtable family seemed perfect on screen, the real relationships between the actors were often tense, complicated, and sometimes downright difficult. Several beloved cast members left the show or had serious problems during their time there, and the reasons might surprise you. Let's start with one of the most shocking departures from the show. Lisa Bonet, who played the free-spirited Denise Huxtable, was one of the most popular characters on The Cosby Show. Audiences loved her unique style, her rebellious attitude, and her chemistry with the rest of the family. She seemed like she had it made. She was young, beautiful, talented, and starring on one of the biggest shows on television. But behind the scenes, Lisa Bonet was struggling with something that many people her age face, but most don't have to deal with while being watched by millions of people every week. She was trying to figure out who she really was. Lisa was just a teenager when The Cosby Show started, and as she grew up in the spotlight, she began to feel trapped by her character and the wholesome image the show wanted her to maintain. The problem started to become obvious when Lisa Bonet got her own spin-off show called A Different World. This show was supposed to follow Denise as she went to college, and it seemed like the perfect opportunity for Lisa to spread her wings and show her acting range. But even before A Different World premiered, there were signs that Lisa wasn't happy. Lisa Bonet was going through what psychologists call an identity crisis. She was trying to separate herself from the character of Denise and establish her own identity as an adult and as an actress. This is something that happens to a lot of child actors, but it's especially difficult when you're on a show that has such strict rules about how you should behave both on and off screen. The situation got more complicated when Lisa Bonet started dating musician Lenny Kravitz. Their relationship was passionate and intense, and it represented everything that was different from the clean-cut image that The Cosby Show wanted to project. When Lisa got pregnant with Lenny's baby, it created a huge problem for the show's producers. Remember, this was the 1980s, and television was much more conservative than it is today. Having an unmarried pregnant actress on a family show was considered scandalous. The show's creator, Bill Cosby, was reportedly not happy about the situation, and this created tension between him and Lisa Bonet. But the pregnancy wasn't the only issue. Lisa Bonet had also started taking on other acting projects that were very different from her wholesome image on The Cosby Show. She appeared in a movie called Angel Heart, which had adult themes and content that was completely opposite to what audiences expected from Denise Huxtable. The combination of her pregnancy, her changing personal life, and her desire to take on more mature acting roles created a perfect storm of conflict. Lisa Bonet found herself caught between her desire to grow as an actress and a person, and the expectations of the show that had made her famous. Eventually, Lisa Bonet made the difficult decision to leave A Different World after just one season, and her appearances on The Cosby Show became less and less frequent. She officially left The Cosby Show in 1991, just 1 year before the series ended. Many people were shocked by her departure because it seemed like she was walking away from guaranteed success and financial security. But for Lisa Bonet, leaving the show was about something more important than money or fame. It was about her personal freedom and her right to make her own choices about her career and her life. She wanted to be seen as more than just a character she played on television, and she was willing to give up the security of The Cosby Show to pursue that goal. Another actor whose departure surprised many fans was Jeffrey Owens, who played Elvin Thibodeau, the husband of Sandra Huxtable. Jeffrey's situation was different from Lisa Bonet's, but it shows another side of what it was like to work on The Cosby Show. Jeffrey Owens joined the show in its fourth season as a recurring character and eventually became a regular cast member. His character Elvin was often the target of jokes from Cliff Huxtable, played by Bill Cosby. While this created some funny moments on screen, Jeffrey later revealed that the experience of constantly being the butt of jokes, even if they were scripted, took a toll on him emotionally. Jeffrey has spoken about how difficult it was to maintain his self-esteem while playing a character who was constantly being put down and ridiculed. Even though he knew it was just acting, having to perform scenes where his character was insulted and made fun of every week started to affect how he felt about himself. This is something that people don't often think about when they watch TV shows. The actors are real people with real feelings, and when they have to act out the same types of scenes over and over again, it can start to impact their mental health and self-image. Jeffrey Owens also struggled with the fact that while The Cosby Show made him recognizable, it also typecast him in a way that made it difficult for him to get other acting jobs. Casting directors would see him and immediately think of Elvin, the somewhat bumbling son-in-law from The Cosby Show, rather than seeing him as a versatile actor who could play different types of characters. After The Cosby Show ended, Jeffrey Owens continued to work as an actor, but he also had to take on other jobs to support himself and his family. This is actually very common in the acting world, but it became news when someone spotted him working at a grocery store and took his picture without permission. The photo went viral, and many people reacted with surprise that an actor from such a famous show would need to work a regular job. But Jeffrey Owens handled the situation with grace and dignity. He explained that there's nothing wrong with working an honest job to support your family, and that acting work isn't always steady or reliable, even for people who have been on successful TV shows. Tempest Bledsoe, who played Vanessa Huxtable, had a different kind of experience on The Cosby Show, but she also faced challenges that eventually influenced her decision about her future in acting. Tempest was just 11 years old when the show started, which means she literally grew up on the set of The Cosby Show. Growing up on a TV show set is a unique experience that very few people can relate to. While other kids her age were going to regular school and having normal childhood experiences, Tempest was working long hours, memorizing lines, and being directed by adults about how to act and behave. Tempest has talked about how she sometimes felt like she missed out on a normal childhood. While she was grateful for the opportunities that The Cosby Show gave her, she also wondered what it would have been like to just be a regular kid without the pressure and responsibilities that came with being on a hit television show. One of the biggest challenges for child actors is learning how to separate their real identity from their character. For 8 years, millions of people knew Tempest as Vanessa Huxtable, and it was sometimes difficult for her to figure out who she was when she wasn't playing that character. After The Cosby Show ended, Tempest made a conscious decision to step back from acting for a while. She wanted to experience life as a regular person and figure out what she wanted to do with her future without the influence of being a child star. She went to college, studied, and took time to develop interests and hobbies that had nothing to do with acting or entertainment. This decision to take a break from acting shows a lot of maturity and self-awareness. Many child actors struggle with the transition to adulthood, especially when they've been famous for most of their lives. Tempest recognized that she needed time to grow and develop as a person before she could continue with her acting career. Malcolm Jamal Warner, who played Theo Huxtable, also faced unique challenges during and after his time on The Cosby Show. Like Tempest, Malcolm was very young when the show started, and he spent his teenage years growing up in front of millions of viewers. Malcolm has been open about the pressure he felt to be a role model, both on and off screen. Because The Cosby Show was so influential and important to so many people, especially in the African American community, Malcolm felt a responsibility to always behave perfectly and never make the kinds of mistakes that teenagers typically make. This pressure to be perfect all the time was incredibly stressful for a young person. Malcolm has talked about how he sometimes felt like he couldn't just be a normal teenager because so many people were watching him and expecting him to be the same as his character Theo. After The Cosby Show ended, Malcolm also had to deal with being typecast. Like Jeffrey Owens, he found it difficult to get acting roles that were different from the character he had played for so many years. Casting directors would see him and immediately think of Theo Huxtable, rather than considering him for other types of roles. Malcolm eventually found success in other areas of entertainment, including music and directing, but it took time for him to establish himself as more than just Theo from The Cosby Show. One actor whose departure was particularly painful for fans was Sabrina LaBeouf, who played Sandra Huxtable, the oldest daughter of the family. Sabrina's situation was different from some of the other cast members because she was an adult when she joined the show, but she still faced challenges that eventually led to tensions with the show's production. Sabrina LaBeouf has spoken about feeling undervalued and underutilized on The Cosby Show. As the oldest daughter, her character Sandra often served as a straight man for other characters' jokes, rather than being given her own storylines and character development. This was frustrating for Sabrina as an actress because she felt like she had more to offer than what she was being asked to do on the show. Sabrina also faced challenges related to her race and appearance. Even though The Cosby Show was groundbreaking for showing a successful African-American family, there were still issues behind the scenes related to colorism and how different cast members were treated based on their skin tone and appearance. These kinds of issues are unfortunately common in the entertainment industry, but they were especially painful on a show that was supposed to be breaking down barriers and promoting positive representations of African-American families. The working environment on The Cosby Show was also affected by the personality and management style of Bill Cosby himself. While Bill Cosby was praised for creating a positive representation of African-American family life, several cast members have spoken about how difficult he could be to work with behind the scenes. Bill Cosby was not just the star of the show, he was also an executive producer, which meant he had a lot of control over everything that happened on set. Some cast members have described him as controlling and difficult to please, someone who expected everyone to follow his vision exactly without questioning or suggesting alternatives. This kind of working environment can be very stressful for actors, especially young actors who are still learning their craft. When the star of the show is also the boss, it can be difficult to speak up about problems or concerns because actors might be afraid of losing their jobs or being labeled as difficult to work with. Several cast members have also talked about how Bill Cosby had very specific ideas about how the show should portray African-American family life, and these ideas sometimes conflicted with the actor's own experiences and perspectives. While his intentions may have been good, this rigid approach sometimes made it difficult for the actors to bring their own creativity and authenticity to their characters. The impact of leaving The Cosby Show was different for each actor, but most of them faced similar challenges in their post-Cosby careers. Being associated with such a famous and beloved show was both a blessing and a curse. On one hand, it gave them recognition and opened doors in the entertainment industry. On the other hand, it made it difficult for them to be seen as anything other than their Cosby Show characters. Many of the actors have talked about having to work extra hard to prove that they were capable of playing different types of characters and taking on new challenges. Some of them took breaks from acting altogether, while others continued to work but had to accept smaller roles or different types of projects than they might have preferred. The financial aspect of leaving The Cosby Show was also significant. The show was incredibly successful, and staying with it would have provided financial security for years to come. By choosing to leave, these actors were giving up guaranteed income in exchange for freedom to pursue other opportunities and express themselves in different ways. But for many of them, this trade-off was worth it. They valued their artistic integrity and personal growth more than financial security, even though it meant taking significant risks with their careers. The stories of these actors also highlight some of the broader challenges that exist in the entertainment industry. Issues like typecasting, workplace dynamics, creative control, and the pressure to maintain a certain image are problems that many actors face, not just those who are on The Cosby Show. The entertainment industry can be particularly difficult for young actors and actors of color, who often face additional challenges and limitations that their white or older counterparts might not experience. The actors from The Cosby Show were dealing with all of these industry-wide issues, while also trying to navigate the specific challenges of being on such a high-profile and culturally important show. Looking back now, it's clear that the actors who left The Cosby Show were making brave decisions to prioritize their personal and artistic growth over the security and fame that came with being on the show. While their departures were disappointing for fans at the time, they were necessary for these actors to develop as individuals and as artists. Their stories also remind us that the people we see on television are real human beings with their own struggles, dreams, and challenges. The characters they play might seem perfect, but the actors themselves are dealing with the same kinds of issues that we all face, just under much more public scrutiny. The legacy of The Cosby Show is complicated. While the show was groundbreaking and important for its positive representation of African American family life, the later revelations about Bill Cosby's personal conduct have changed how many people view the show and its impact. But the stories of the actors who left the show remind us that art and entertainment are created by real people making real choices about their lives and careers. These actors chose to prioritize their integrity, growth, and personal happiness over fame and financial success, and their decisions deserve respect and understanding. The Cosby Show will always be remembered as an important moment in television history, but the real stories of the actors who were part of it are just as important and interesting as the fictional stories of the Huxtable family. Their experiences teach us valuable lessons about the entertainment industry, about growing up in the public eye, and about the courage it takes to make difficult decisions in pursuit of personal authenticity. So the next time you watch reruns of The Cosby Show, remember that behind those smiling faces and perfect family moments were real people dealing with real challenges and making real sacrifices for their art and their personal growth. Their stories are a reminder that sometimes the most important thing you can do is stay true to yourself, even when it means walking away from something that looks perfect from the outside. If this video opened your eyes to the real stories behind one of TV's most beloved families, make sure you hit that like button and share it with your friends. There are so many more untold stories from Hollywood's golden age, and I want to bring them all to you. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell, so you never miss when we dive deep into the secrets and stories that shape the entertainment we all love. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.